Hey everyone, I'm Evie from Vocalize, and today we're going to talk about the typical mistakes that singers make when they want to learn how to sing with distortion. Remember, distortion is a tricky vocal effect and it can harm your voice if you do it incorrectly. So if you recognize yourself in one of these examples, stop what you're doing and change your technique. If you're not sure about your technique or don't know how to approach distortion, I suggest you find help from a vocal coach. There are a lot of good vocal coaches around the world, so they have the knowledge to teach you how to sing with distortion, including myself. And if you are interested in getting direct coaching from me, just send me an email at vocalizecoaching@gmail.com. Now, let's dive in, all right? First mistake. A lot of people, when they want to sing with a distorted voice, they think they have to be really loud. And that's not the case. So don't start to shout and hope that distortion will suddenly appear. It may happen, but there's a good chance you are already hurting your voice. And I get it, right? You know, most of us who sing with distortion sing heavy music like rock or metal, so that's loud. But in order to make the distortion effect, or rather to find distortion in your voice, you need to start off with a much softer tone so that you can really feel and identify where the good distortion is made. So how you can feel it. And for those of you who are, really complete newbies in the world of distortion, your first step can be just softly whispering an ah and trying to make noise or static around that ah. So you start doing the ah. So you create some noise or white noise or static around that ah. That is really your baby step into distortion. All right, the second mistake a lot of vocalists make. They try to imitate an artist. Now, don't get me wrong, imitation can be a really powerful tool when you're learning something because you can really try to mimic the sound. But realize that you will never sound exactly the same as another singer. So if imitating that singer helps you to find your distortion, that's great. But then stop. Don't try and force your voice to sound like another vocalist. I could use a song from Metallica or Hailstorm to find the distortion in my voice, but I cannot expect my voice to sound like James Hetfield or Lizzie Hale. So it's really important to find the distortion in your own voice and develop that sound. And also, it's an important remark I need to make here. Because I so often get singers, they come here, have me listen to a song, and then they say, I want to sound like this. Well, like I said, you can't imitate an artist, that's one. And you are making me listen to a fully produced album that has at least 4 tracks of vocals on it. So if you really need to compare your voice or imitate a singer, then at least make sure that you are playing a fair game. Listen to a live version of the song and see or hear what the singer sounds like live. And then you can start working on that sound. Next up, we have singers that continue to sing even though it hurts. And I know some of you may look surprised, but there are still a lot of people out there that think it's normal that when you grunt, growl, scream, or sing with distortion, that it hurts. Or that it's normal you get hoarse, or your throat starts to feel like sandpaper. So you need to realize our vocal folds, they lack pain receptors. So basically pain receptors are neurons, and they give the signal to our brain that something hurts. And our vocal folds itself, they don't have these pain receptors. So they won't tell you immediately if something that you're doing is wrong. However, there is other tissue and muscles around your vocal folds that do have these pain receptors. So when you feel pain when you're singing, it's these pain receptors that are kicking in and telling you you are doing something wrong with your voice, and that you are now not only hurting your vocal folds, but you're also straining a bunch of other muscles in your larynx to avoid completely destroying your vocal folds. And then we have the hoarseness. And the hoarseness usually appears afterwards. So when you have put so much strain and pressure on your vocal folds, then, well, they get irritated, they get swollen, and they don't want to close anymore. So normally when you have a clean voice, your vocal folds will close. The moment that they get swollen, they decide not to close again, and you get that breathy voice. So that's really the hoarseness that kicks in. Now when you're practicing, especially when you are doing vocal effects, it can happen that you strain your voice a bit. But this hoarseness, it should go away within an hour or so. But if you remain hoarse, or you keep having this, rough sandpaper feeling in your throat, then please check in on your vocal coach to see what you are doing wrong. And then the last mistake a lot of singers make when they are learning to sing with distortion. They use too much compression so that the airflow is completely blocked. So yes, in order to, if you want to make or add distortion to your voice, you need to use vocal compression. But you always need to remember your voice needs air or airflow in order to function. And a lot of people learn vocal compression by imitating that they are lifting something really heavy. So they go like, and you really feel like the pressure building up in your throat. And basically, it's a good exercise to learn what compression feels like. But on a scale from 1 to 10, the compression you use when you have to lift something really, really heavy is like level 8 or more. So if you want to create distortion, you need to go down a few levels so that your airflow is working again. So like we said, level 8 would be nothing comes out. What if we would go to a level 6? Let's see what level 6 would feel like or hear like. You'd be like, you can already hear the airflow, but it's still way too much compression to let my vocal folds vibrate so that they can really phonate or make a sound. Now let's take it down to a level 4. It would be like, hey, hey, hey. Now you can actually still hear the compression in my voice, but there is enough airflow to let your vocal folds do what they're supposed to do. And that's just vibrate, make a sound. So, try not to be too loud. Find your own sound in distortion. If it hurts, you can be sure something's wrong, so please stop and find help. And make sure that you're not blocking your airflow. So, these are the 4 most common mistakes. If you have trouble finding distortion in your voice, find a good vocal coach that can help you to learn how to make this vocal effect in a healthy way. I personally work with the Universal Voice System. So if you are somewhere in Belgium or the Netherlands, there are a lot of certified Universal Voice teachers that can help you out. And like I said, you can always reach out to me on vocalizecoaching@gmail.com if you want me to coach you on this subject. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I hope it was helpful, and we'll talk again soon.